Okay, here we have the Nintendo 64, one of the world's greatest gaming consoles ever made. Now, let's just get the record straight before I start. This was not the first 3D console. Many people say that, I don't know why, but it is not the world's first 3D gaming console, peoples. Okay, so the 64 was a very differently designed console compared to many others made in the past. Nintendo always made funny looking ones, such as this one. It's got such a weird shape, the way it's crafted. The controller looks really weird, but the main thing is it works well, and it's home to some of the many classic games that we enjoy today, like Super Smash Bros. And Mario Kart. Okay, so I'm first of all just going to look at the exterior. As you see, you just got a simple power button, nothing fancy, a reset button, and it's got this thing in the middle, known as the expansion slot, which allows you to store more memory, and you need that in games like Donkey Kong, which I don't own because I have to get one of those, and I can't be bothered to fork out money to actually get an expansion slot. But you got 4 players. Other consoles such as PlayStation 2, whatever, you can only play 2 players, 4 players. Brilliant. I love it. And this is what I would call social console, you could say. If I'm at home, I don't play heaps of 64. This is more of my social console. And you got the nice Nintendo 64 symbol there. This is a cartridge unit. Basically, they still use cartridges in 1996. It was good because cartridges last for years and years and years and years and years without getting scratched, and they are pretty cool. However, the downside of the cartridges are, number one, you actually it costs a lot more. The games costed more on a 64 because you actually had cartridges, which is a very big downside. But they don't have much load time. You load straight into it, which is absolutely brilliant. Yeah. At the back, you got this massive hole where you put the power pack and it slides right in, which I don't know, is a good thing or a bad thing. I suppose it makes the console lighter. Some consoles have the actual power transformer thingamabob in it, like the PlayStation 2 thick one, and then when you got the PlayStation 2 thin, they actually put it on the cable, so that's why it is so thin, because a lot of the work's been done on the actual power cable. And then you got the AV adapter, which can actually also be used on the Super Nintendo, peoples. So if you have a Super Nintendo, you can use the same AV cable. And now I'm just going to take a look at the controller briefly, because I have actually already reviewed the 64 controller. And here's the 64 controller itself. Now the 64 controller is absolutely weird. You got 3 handles. I don't know why they designed it like this. Looks like a flying saucer, but I love it. It takes a little bit of getting used to. I mean, you can either hold it like that or that. I don't know what game you're actually playing, but yeah, just takes a little bit of getting used to. Now, you got the toggle. Now the toggle, it's an okay toggle. It's got a bit of plastic grip on it, so you can grip it more. But the downside to it is the fact that it breaks really easily. Now, I don't know about you, but if you have a controller and you play it very regularly, over a year or two, that toggle or whatever, it becomes very loose and it breaks, which makes it very hard to play some games. That's why the D-pad can be good to play in some games. However, some games won't let you use it, so it's just one of those things. And on the back, it's got a trigger, or usually if you're playing a game or something like that, that's usually the shooting button, the fire button, which is the Z piece. You got this funny thing here. Now that is the card slot. I think it's a card slot. What do you call it? Anyway, some controller port where you put the add-ons in. For instance, this did not have a vibration sensor actually built into the controller. If you want to have vibration when you're playing, you have to actually get a rumble pack, shove it in, and on some of the later games on the 64 you would actually get vibrations by putting an add-on in. This was inconvenient because you had to pay more money, plus you had this chunky thing just hanging out, which you don't want when you're playing. Same as a transfer pack. Transfer pack let you play Pokemon on Pokemon Stadium. I don't think you could play any other Game Boy Color games. And I've just got here an example. This is the controller pack, also referred to as the memory pack. Basically just shove it in. When I'm playing a game, I can save onto this. It's like the PS2 memory or PS1 memory card, just in the back of the controller. Play, when I'm finished, take it out, piece of cake. However, some games actually had built-in memory. For instance, Mario Kart would let you actually save all your course records and etc. on the actual cartridge itself, so you don't actually have to carry around one of those memory cards. However, if you wanted to save your Ghost or something like that, you would actually need a memory pack. And when I recently got Turok Dinosaur Hunter, I actually had to buy that thing just for that game because it wouldn't actually let me save it on the cartridge. So yeah, Nintendo made a lot of these add-ons which would actually make you end up paying lots more for the console. So the controller is very unique. It wasn't the most effective controller, but it did its job. Okay, let's take a look at some of the games for the actual system. Super Mario 64 is obviously the most famous game for the system. I don't know what's so... It's not my favourite game for the system. It's an alright game, but this was the first game for sale when the actual system came out in 1996. And then another notable game was Mario Kart 64. This would have been in my top 3 for the system. My cartridge is absolutely crap. You've only got half the image there, but you know, everyone knows Mario Kart. Mario Kart's awesome. Get it for the system. You'll love it. A couple of other notable games. GoldenEye. I'm not a huge GoldenEye fan because, you know, I'm not into James Bond, but lots of people love it. Pokemon Stadium, which, as I said, you could play Game Boy Color games on the big screen, on a plasma. Not that you need to see Pokemon that big anyway. You had the Banjo-Kazooie and Tooie. Super Smash Brothers, which is my favourite game, which unfortunately I don't have on me at the moment. And Lylat Wars, which is Star Fox 64, which is a very good game too. So, you know, the 64 is just one of those consoles where you had classic games, classic fun, not too hard, not too simple. So if you're looking for old, I wouldn't call it old because, you know, Super Smash Bros. Is still on the Wii, but if you're looking for just classic fun, 64 is for you. And, you know, when you play Smash Bros. On the Wii today, you know, it's not quite the same as the original. So I would highly recommend the 64. It is probably my second favourite gaming console after the Master System. So I would highly recommend the 64. If you're looking for fun, the 64 is for you, and it makes a great social console. In fact, I think it's better than the Wii, but you know, that's just me.